I did that video yesterday on how do we find knowing. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really not sure how many people truly grasped what I was saying. And that's not to insinuate that nobody gets it. I just wonder about the whole, how many people really get the fact that we don't really know. I've done so many videos about I've done videos about and said things like, where did we get what we think we know? I've done videos talking about challenging everything that we have that has been given to us by somebody else because we don't have any sense of the actual source besides my mama told me, my daddy told me, my teacher told me, my pastor told me. And when you get older and you step into awareness and consciousness, sometimes, even if your parents were like beautiful people, you can look back and realize that there were just certain limitations your parents had or your teachers had or the preachers had, and you've kind of gotten above and past that. And that's not arrogance, that's not ego, that's just a natural progression that you may have gone through. The more I really think about it, it's absolutely amazing to me how much of what it is that we are was designed for us to be manipulated or is manipulatable. And I'm just going to pass by this point. It's not going to be a rant about that. But when you look at how our minds are made up, emotional, electrical, energy beings, and all this stuff that I put forth before, and then you start even getting all the way down to our five senses: sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch. I don't know why I have a brain fart with that. These things are so manipulatable. They fool us. The mind fools us. Even if you think you're sound-minded, the mind can play tricks on us. During periods of intense stress, the mind can play tricks on us. The eyes can play tricks on us. The ears can play tricks on us. The touch, feeling, senses can play tricks on us. Our emotions can play tricks on us. And I'm just really hard-pressed to really wrap my mind around the purpose of what we were put here for if it weren't to be manipulated and exploited, extracted from, and in the context that I've put forth many times, fed from. The more it really sinks into my mind, into my brain, all of these attributes and aspects of the human that are what they are. Vulnerable, weak, we have no knowledge of them, no inherent protection mechanism of them, etc., etc., etc. And most, if not all of them, are so profoundly manipulatable. Tie that into our level of ignorance, and it is an absolute recipe. It is an absolute design or blueprint for everything that I have been trying to tell people for the past several months. Now, the more that I've been seeing, the more and more challenging it has gotten to be here, to be here. It really has. It has been such a challenge, up to the point where some of the videos I've done in recent days, alluding to the fact that I don't want to be here, and that I'm actually contemplating checking out early because I don't have anything in this life, and see the suffering that I see the equations within the human species that I see. And I am what I am. There's a lot that I'm lacking in knowledge, and, well, I don't know where to find the knowledge to fill in the gaps. I'm not sure, unless people are in a profound trance, blissfully ignorant, and that's not a criticism, ignorance without knowledge or understanding of a particular thing. I don't know how we continue to allow this to happen. I don't know how we haven't recognized these equations within us. I don't know how we haven't recognized the gravity of what this is. Like I said, I don't think any of us really know the truth. You know, you hear some of these string theorists talking about ones and zeros in the adinkras that they use to interpret the fabric of the reality that we are in as much as they can. Ones and zeros. Is that true? Don't know. Could that be these guys being part of the system, as science is so generally bought and paid for? Could they be members of the system just trying to mindfuck the silly little goyim beast animal? It's possible. It's possible. You know, we've had this mechanism in front of us called Hollywood since all of us can remember, obviously. And it has been putting things in front of our faces. It has been using it to drop ideas in our head, etc., etc., etc. And it's really easy to get sucked into seeing some of the themes or agendas or things in these movies that parallel the world that we see. Yet, there is so much deception out there. It is virtually impossible to know what's true. Think about all this religion stuff. And if you're halfway awakened and you've stepped away from that stuff and you realize what a mind trap and mind parasite all of that religion stuff is, it becomes pretty obvious. This experience, and this is going to sound really negative and pessimistic. I get it, and I'm not saying this to be negative and pessimistic. This is not what we think it is. Meaning, this earth, this plane of existence, whether it's round or flat, us humans, this everything is not what we think it is. God is not what we think it is. The quote-unquote devil is not what we think it is. Nothing. Just like, I hate to be cliche, just like Jordan Maxwell says, nothing in this world works the way you think it does. And the more that I look, the more that I search, the more that I try to feed my mind, to grow, to expand, the more I find the putridness of this experience, of what man does to its own kind, what forces from beyond are doing to humanity, and the fact that most of humanity is absolutely oblivious to it. And if you were to tell them, because of the mind programming, because of the indoctrination, because of the manipulation, none of them have an idea. None of them have a frame of reference to understand what it is you're even talking about. And those of us that are in this world, that are fully awakened, halfway awakened, or even just simply rubbing a few brain cells together to the point where we're starting to ask bigger questions, I tell you, it can be one of the most, or if it isn't for me, I mean, the most challenging things to be an awakened human being, or an awakening human being in this construct. It really is. And it's not because humans are bad. It's because we've been so manipulated, divided, turned against each other. The information we are given around the world is all in conflict with each other. These religions are in conflict with each other in many respects. And there's just nothing about what is going on this planet and what has been going on this planet that is conducive to humanity being in harmony, being in a state of abundance, not necessarily bliss and rainbows and fairy dust, but in a good, healthy state where we are as a species, learning and growing and thriving and advancing and evolving and doing something that in any way resembles what a healthy species would do, that wanted to, or that was intended to evolve and advance beyond what it was initially created to be. Now, if you think that this technology is our advancing beyond what we were intended to be, I would suggest that you're mistaken. Because what we are is more than most of us know. Most of us don't know. And all these things in us are shut off. I know this is going to sound nuts, but none of this makes sense. And if this makes sense to you, if you think you've got it figured out, I would suggest you do a bit of a self-assessment and see if your ego isn't just telling you things that you want to hear. Because this happens. Not enough people are willing to look under the rug. Not enough people are willing to pull back the veil. And I'm not talking about just what government's doing. I'm talking about on this reality. Because I can touch that and knock on the table. It's solid, right? Or isn't it? Do we know? You know, I'm just appalled at how much deception is out there. I'm really even more sickened at what we do and what we are currently doing to each other. We exploit each other. We profit from each other. There are people out there that have knowledge and information that will sell it to you. We're exploiting our fellow humans. At the time in this world, in human history that we are, those that find answers and those that find proverbial key, if you will, they want to sell it to their other fellow human beings. I don't understand that. That does not make any sense to me at all. Why anyone that would claim to be a benevolent human being, to be an awakened human being that found the answer, that found an answer, that found the key, that found a key, wouldn't share it with all of their fellow humans. And freely, because this is information in the context of the key or the answer or whatever, that all of humanity should know. All of humanity should be given this information by default. But we're not. We're born ignorant with all these facets of us that are to the best that I can see, designed to be absolutely exploited and manipulated. Look at the history of humans for 7,000 years or more. That is evidence in and of itself. Repeating the cycles, repeating the patterns. Death, war, destruction. Over and over and over. Famine, disease, death, war, destruction. Conquer, kill, war, death. Conquer, war, over and over. Throw a little plague in there. Throw some famine in there. Throw some financial hardship and economic woe in there. Oh boy. I can't, and I've been looking, and it's wearing down on me. It's wearing me. It's bringing me to the point where I've done some of the videos that I've done in the last couple of days, telling people, I want out, feeling so deep down in my soul or whatever the hell it is within me that I don't want to be here anymore. Because I just don't see it as being a fun experience. And as it's said, it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And I am not well adjusted. I have not been able to find an equilibrium in this world and in this life for a while. Going down to South America and doing what I did with ayahuasca and the shamanic journey and the plant medicines, I'm still on the fence as to whether or not that was a good thing or not a good thing. Because what has happened to me, my mind, what I see, what I experience, subsequent to those experiences, has almost been more horrible than what I was experiencing before I left America to go down there to experience that stuff. All under the pretenses of healing my own mind and beginning to walk a path that I thought was noble and, that would give my life a purpose it hadn't before, in being in service to my fellow human beings. I find it so perplexing and frustrating and angering and grotesque that I literally did what I did by going down there from a place of benevolence, of having love for my fellow humans, my fellow human beings, that I would sacrifice everything I've ever had, get rid of it, and begin to walk a new journey, to learn, to contribute, to help to heal the minds or whatever aspect of the body that my fellow humans may need help healing. Not that I was going to be a healer, because we all have to heal ourselves, but people who work in the healing arts that are the good ones. They will guide you into your own realizations that allow you to heal. Sometimes, I suppose, somebody can become the hollow bone, so to speak, and allow energy to come down through them and into someone else to help them heal. But for the most part, we have to do it ourselves. I find it to be such a sick joke that something came to me so hard by way of these experiences I had for 8, 9, 10 months leading up to my going to South America. Healer, healer, healer. And this was coming at me from different people. It was like whatever's out there was using these various people, because I would run into people who would mention it. I would run into scenarios where it would come up. And since I gave myself to that, since I took that leap of faith off that cliff to walk this path, aside from my experiences in Peru, which most of them were pretty beautiful, it has been the most challenging thing to be here subsequent to these trips to Peru. What I have been able to see, what I have been able to put together, seeing the reality of this in as much as I have the ability to, and recognizing that there is so much that I still do not see. I am so eager to see it. I want to know the truth, no matter what form it takes. There are forces out there, forces here, that do not want you to know or find the truth. And it is the most frustrating thing that, while I can tell you, yeah, the truth resonates within you, it is still easy to be fooled by half-truths. I just experienced that in the recent couple of days. When I tell you, I just got so fooled, it's not even funny. And it's really, it's kind of hit my pride and a little bit my ego, because I like to believe that I'm smarter than that, more intelligent than that. But somebody got me good. Somebody got me good. Basically, because I put that video up about wanting to check out, somebody came to my channel and, started talking to me about some stuff. And here I am in a bit of a weakened state, a little disempowered because of my financial situation, and just really, I guess you could say, a little depressed because the outlook is just not that good. And this person just dropped some information on me that ultimately, I come to find, leads to the source of it, which is such a charlatan woman. Such a charlatan woman. It's just such a shame. And this is what caused me to do this, is realizing the gravity of the deception out there, that it was designed specifically for all us silly little human animals. I can't get over what we do to each other. I can't get over the equations in the human species that are so exploitable, that are so vulnerable, that are so weak. There's too many of them for it to be a coincidence. There's too damn many of them for it to be a coincidence. It's as if we were designed or engineered for extraction, for manipulation, for exploitation. When you look at our ignorance, when you look at all these facets of the human species, up to and including sight, smell, taste, sound, and touch. Hey, I did it. As messed up as this sounds, it's gotten to the point where I almost believe that everything in this world is a deception. Everything in this world is a deception. And it is incredibly plausible, up to and including the very reality that we think we live in that is real. The walls are solid, right? Can't put your hand through them. Table's solid, right? Can't put your hand through it. I don't know. They tell us it's all vibrating. They tell us it's all just molecules that are vibrating so rapidly that, it feels dense. When we depend on other humans to give us the information that tells us what this reality is, we are sheep. We are cattle. We are being led. We are being handed a reality. Just like Ed Harris says in The Truman Show, we believe the reality with which we are presented. And when you look at us feeble-minded little humans, most of us never question it. Most of us never challenge it. Most of us never peek behind the veil, look under the rug, or tear the veil down, or pick the damn rug up. We are content running ourselves on the hamster wheel. We are content watching other members of our species kill, control, and dominate other members of our species. What we have accepted, what we are content with, what we see every day, the way our government handles things, the way the government in our country, the way cops treat us, the way they're out there fleecing us on the roads and doing all this stuff. I don't know how people are not in a complete state of, I don't know, I can't find the word right now. I'm telling you people, none of this makes sense anymore to me, and I am very lucid. Maybe I'm struggling with certain things right now. Maybe I'm having a low point in life. Hey, it happens. And I will either not get out of it or I will. Whatever it's supposed to be, it's going to be. But I cannot believe people don't see this. I cannot believe we are not coming together and solidifying. I cannot believe that we have not all collectively thrown off these chains, that we have not all collectively worked to exterminate the mind poison that has been given to us. I cannot believe what we're doing and what we're experiencing. And because people have a job and let me rephrase that, a steady flow of income, and there's not a lot of pain in their life in that respect, they're comfortable. They're comfortable, and they're used to the program that they've been running. Get up, go to work, pay your bills, pay your taxes, have some kids, raise them so that and get them to join the army, get a social security card, a driver's license, become a member of the system and all that other stuff. Keep perpetuating these cycles over and over and over and over, silly little human. I'm just appalled every day that people believe in this benevolent, loving God. I'm appalled every day that these new agey people believe that, quote unquote, the Palladians or the Andromedans or some, quote unquote, good, benevolent race of, quote unquote, aliens or entities or whatever is out there saving us or helping us or doing any meaningful thing. Despite my flaws, despite my attitudes, despite any of that stuff, I know that I know that I know that I know that I have a lot of love in my heart. I know that I know that I know that I know that I have a love for my fellow humans that I think is rare to see in this world. I know that everything that I've done in the last couple of years with regards to walking that journey was from a place of benevolence, a place of nobility. Not that I'm so noble, but I had an opportunity to do something that I saw as noble and I figured I'd take it. And I have gotten, and I'm not boo-hoo, I'm just looking at cause and effect, looking at this equation. I have gotten such a shit sandwich. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's say something good and benevolent was doing this and then led me down this path. Well, how is it that, and I'm not asking anybody to give me an answer, I'm just speaking rhetorically or out loud, that this has turned out to be this way? If it weren't for the fact that I was deceived. I was deceived. Because in our silly little human animal perception minds, we really don't have the ability very easily to discern a lot. The forces that are out there that could mess with us, we have no ability to discern these things. I'm telling you, people, nothing works the way we think it does. Nothing is what we think it is. Not enough people are asking questions. Not enough people are asking really big questions. And not enough people are doing enough work to really find the answers. Because most people are content with what they think they know. And they accept the reality of the world that has been presented to them. And in that condition, in that feeble-minded, childish state, we have been taken advantage of, exploited, manipulated, extracted from, and squeezed on levels that I cannot believe the whole of the species that I am a part of has not recognized this and come together as a collective to eradicate this shit from our human experience. We lie to each other. We extract from one another. We profit from one another. I have a key and you can't have it unless you give me money. This makes no sense. It makes no sense how we could be this way to each other. It makes no sense. It makes no sense that it was created to be this way. It makes no sense that all these aspects of us were engineered into us on purpose. All of the things that I've shared before, up to and including our five senses, even our minds, all of it. Play the marionette. Watch the puppet move. Watch the puppet do the little dance.